Howdy everyone, welcome to my first YouTube video on this channel. In this video we're going to be working with Java code and I'm going to show you how I set up my applications in order to code, in order to save code, how we compile code, and how we run code. I hope this video shows you some tips and tricks on how to do that. So let's get started. Okay everyone, we should be back and hopefully you're able to see my screen. So now that we want to start coding, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up two specific applications. The first thing is over here called Visual Studio Code. Now I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, you likely already have this downloaded, and if you don't, it's not that hard to do. You can find instructions online, and we'll get back to this. Now you notice that when I open this app, it kind of opened only in the left side of my screen, and that's intentional. If you want yours to look like this, all you want to do is come here, kind of to the top part of the app. You're going to hold down the left click, and you're going to drag to this little top bar up here at the top of your screen. And based on that, you can kind of see you have all these options of where you want to put it. For me, we're just going to split the screen in half, and I'm going to put it over here on the left side. Now, the next thing we're going to do, we are wanting to get open, is going to be our PowerShell. And if you don't know what that is, a PowerShell is basically a terminal run in a specific file directory. So what you're going to want to do is I already have it created, but you can create a new one if you like. I have a folder on my desktop called CompSci111. Now this folder is where I store all of my files for class, and basically anything that I want to run within the scope of this class is going to be saved into here. And you don't have to call yours CompSci111, you can call yours whatever you want. But you do need a folder that's going to store your directory for all the file that you want to run in Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to open this folder and it's going to pop up something like this for you. Now, you probably won't have all these different files in, but it'll be something similar. So we're going to come up here to this top bar and we're going to click. We're going to see the little command directory pop up and we're just going to hit backspace. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to type in PowerShell, all one word. You should get a little pop up like this, but if you don't, you can just type it. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to click on that little pop up, or you can hit enter, and you should get this terminal looking thing pop up right here. And this is what we want. We're doing good. So the next thing we're going to do is just like we did for Visual Studio Code. We're going to grab the little top bar and we're going to drag it into the right pane there. And then we're going to select back to our Visual Studio Code here. So we have a setup that looks something like this. And what this is going to allow you to do is go from where you're writing our code, which is in Visual Studio Code, to our PowerShell, which is where we're going to compile and then run our code. And this setup I found allows you to really see what your code outputs and then go back and change something without having to click around too much and adjust different windows or folders. So now that we have our setup done, we're going to open a file in Visual Studio Code. So you should have a menu something like this. We're simply going to click on New File. And we're going to pop up this little bar here, and we're going to type the name of our file. We're going to call this file Hello World, and I'm going to end it with a YT just so it doesn't overwrite any files already saved to my computer. The most important part about this is not picking the name, but ending whatever your name is with .java. This is going to tell Visual Studio Code what type of coding we're going to do, and it's going to allow it to have us a way smoother process going forward. So we're going to hit enter, and it should pop up your file directory, and it's going to ask you where you want to save that. We're going to go down to the CompSci111 folder, but you can save it in whatever folder you open this PowerShell terminal in. And we're going to hit Create File. So now we have this empty text box thing, and this is where we're going to start typing our code. So if you've never coded before, don't worry too much about all the weird words that are about to come out. Just follow along, and we'll talk about the pieces as we go. So the first thing we want to do, we're going to type public. Oh, and before I get started with this, a lot of programs like Visual Studio Code have plugins that when you type stuff in, it'll automatically fill in all these parts for you. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to type out everything so you can see where it comes from and we don't get confused. Okay, so in line 1, we're going to type public class hello, oh my days, hello world YT. Okay. So couple points here. Whatever the name of your file is, you want it to match where it says Hello World YT. So if your file was called hi, you'd type hi. Simple as that. And now we're going to open these brackets here. Now Visual Studio Code types 2, and that's what we want, and we're just going to hit enter. So it should automatically tab down for you. And the way I like to think about this is now we're coding inside of these two brackets. So whatever we're going to code is going to be inside the public class hello world YT. All right, next step. We're going to set up our main. Don't worry too much about what that means. Just if it's main, that's the main thing that we're doing. That's all you got to know. All right, so we're going to type in public static void main. We're going to open a set of parentheses. We're going to type in string. We're going to do a set of brackets, arrow over, space args, arrow over again, and open a set of curly braces. And there we go. We're going to hit enter again. And now we are inside the public class hello world YT. And then we follow these brackets. And now we're inside these brackets for the public static void main. And this is where we want to be. So the first thing, this is where we're going to basically add functionality to this program. Right now, this program, it doesn't really do anything. So we're going to make it do something cool to impress your friends. All right? So what's a cool thing that we could do? Well, in all the movies that we see, computers can talk. So why don't we let our computer say something to us, or at least act like it's saying something to us? So we're going to type capital system dot out dot print ln, and then we're going to open some parentheses. Now inside these parentheses, we're going to open some quotation marks, and we're going to do the classic computer science phrase, hello world. See, hello world. And we'll give it a little personality with that exclamation point. Now we're going to arrow out of the parentheses and quotation marks, and we're going to end the line with a semicolon. In Java, any line that you write that's not something that has these curly brackets here is going to be needed to be ended with a semicolon to let the machine know that that's the end of that line. Okay, so now we have a program that theoretically is going to work, but we need to make sure we test it. So you're going to notice up here by the file name that there's this little white dot. Oops, don't want to click the X. And that basically means that the file we are currently working in is not saved. So in order to save it, we have a few options. You come up here, you could click the little sandwich button, File, and go down to Save. Well, that's not so fun. You don't want to have to do that every time. If you're on Windows, which is what I'm on, you can simply hold down Control and hit S, which is what I just did. And you'll see that little white dot has gone away. If you're on Mac, I believe it's Command S, but I could be wrong. I don't have a Mac. I don't know. So now we're going to jump over to this terminal over here on the right. So like I said before, over here on the left is where we're going to write our code, and the right is where we're going to run our code. So Java is a compiled language, so firstly we need to tell the computer what file we want to look at, basically. So we're going to type in Java C and then the name of our file, which is hello world yt.java. The way I like to think about this is, or to remember this, is that we have Java C, which in my mind I read as Java compile. So you're telling the computer to compile this file into language it can understand. And we're going to hit enter. Uh-oh, we have a problem. File not found, hello world yt.java. Well, I wonder why that problem came out. We're not looking for hello world yt, we're looking for hello world. So that's my mistake. We're going to retype that again, and be careful that I'm typing the right thing. How about that? Okay, I'm going to click enter, and no problems happened. Now, it didn't really do anything, but really what the computer did is it compiled that file into something we knew. If there was a problem, the computer would scream at us like it did before. But luckily, it's not screaming at us, so we should be good. Now, the next command to actually run the code we just compiled is simple. It's simply Java, and then the name of the file, without the .java, because now it knows that file is compiled into Java language, so it can simply translate for us. So now that that's typed in, we're going to hit enter. And look at that. The computer said, hello world. So what we've done is basically we've allowed your computer to now talk to you whenever it wants. No, I'm just kidding. The computer's only going to output that whenever you tell it to. Now I'm going to leave this video with a couple tricks that I've learned working in PowerShell. Now a lot of times when you're coding, you want to change something, go back, save it, and you want to do this kind of fast. Well, there's two shortcuts that have really helped me. Right now, I'm just in this empty line in the terminal, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the up arrow on my keyboard. And what that's going to do, that's going to auto fill in the last command I typed. And we can do that again to get back to Java C. Okay? So say we wanted to change this from hello world to hello world with a question mark. We're going to hit Control S over here, Visual Studio Code. The white dot is gone. We're going to come back to our PowerShell. Once again, we hit that up arrow, so now we can recompile. And then we can rerun it. Hello world. See? And that's just a little command that I found to be really useful. Anyways, I hope you guys have got something useful out of this video that you can take back to your coding. I wish you the best. Thank you for watching.